Alright, so it is official that Caleb Plant will be making his return back to the ring on May 31st. However, he is not the only person that will be making his return, as Jermall Charlo is now featured on the co-main event of that card. Now, I do be hearing a lot of mixed opinions and mixed reviews about the card. One being, why are both of them on the same card and they're not fighting each other? I can understand that, but there is some sort of a backstory to that, which I'm gonna break down. The second one being the level of oppositions on both behalves, on both Caleb Plant and both Jermall Charlo, who Jermall Charlo is set to face Thomas Lamana. Is the same guy that Arislani Lara knocked out in like a round or something of that sort. So people are kind of, I guess you could say, upset about who they are fighting, because it's like, okay, we've seen Caleb Plant and we've seen Charlo. These dudes are supposed to be top of their class and they're fighting opponents that most people, believe that they'll breeze by. Now, as for the reason why both of them are featured on the same card, now I don't know why they're featured on the same card, but the backstory behind this, according to Caleb Plant, by the way, if you haven't seen his IG live, I will link that down below. But according to Caleb Plant, the reason why this card basically is taking place is because Caleb wanted to fight Charlo. Charlo was the one that wanted a tune-up fight, which I'm pretty sure we all can agree that Charlo needs a tune-up fight. I mean, his last fight was back in 2023. Charlo's been in and out of the ring, mainly out of the ring. I think it is respectable to give Jermall Charlo a tune-up fight. We can all agree to that. And this would have been the fastest route to get Caleb a big fight, because at the time, Pacheco and Billy were in talks to have a fight, I believe in the summertime or something of that sort. As of now, that fight has fell through because Pacheco pulled out of the fight, and it's looking like Pacheco is looking to face Trevor McCumbee, which that is also a very good fight as well. Then apparently, Caleb's team sent Berlanga's team a contract in which Berlanga's team had turned down. So that fight is off the table. And then, of course, Munguia, he had a fight in May in which he needs to win that fight because he didn't take care of business last time. He got knocked out. So he needs to win this fight. And in my opinion, he needs to win it definitively. And you can't say David because David moved up. So it's like the only person that Caleb can fight is Charlo. And the only way how he can fight Jermall Charlo is if he gets a tune-up fight. Because, again, Jermall Charlo wanted a tune-up fight. And if they both win their fights, then it will line both of them up to have a big fight sometime in the fall. Basically, what Devin Haney and Ryan are doing to make their fight happen. Ryan is fighting Rolly. Devin Haney is fighting Jose. That's basically what they're doing to make their fight happen in the fall. Now, here are my criticisms and skepticisms about this card. Let's start with the criticism. Yes, the opponents. I agree. As a Caleb Plant fan, I think, could have been a tiny bit better, right? But I mean, apparently, the guy that he's facing is a knockout artist, but he also lost to Elijah Garcia. So it's kind of like, I guess it's an entertaining fight. Caleb is going to always give you a entertaining fight. And I think his opponent, and I will give credit to that, it seems like his opponent will give the fans a very exciting fight because the dude is a knockout artist, or supposedly he's a knockout artist. And, I've seen his style, and he's very in your face. And I just think how Caleb fights and how this guy fights, I think it will be a entertaining fight in which I believe Caleb Plant will take over. But still, I can see why the fans would want somebody a bit better. Now, the skepticism about the card is actually Jermall Charlo. Now, the reason why I am skeptical is because, mind you, his opponent is Thomas Lamana, right? But prior to them having a official fight date on May the 31st that were actually set to fight on the Tank versus Lamont Roach undercard, in which Jermall Charlo pulled out of that fight. And I think it was a date before that. I want to say they were supposed to happen on the undercard of David versus David. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like there was a card that they were supposed to have been on too, but the fight got canceled because Jermall pulled out of it. That's the only skepticism I have. It's like, okay, can we really trust Jermall Charlo to show up on May 31st? Given his history of, fighting or supposed to be fighting this dude, and the fight falls through because Jermall pulls out of the fight. Like, could we really trust that? And to further break down the opponent's thing, because again, I get the frustration, but I want to pick y'all brains on this, right? So mind you, much like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, both parties, both Devin and Ryan and Caleb and Jermall, they both have to win their next fights to make their big fights happen, right? But Devin has a really tough fight. He has a really tough fight against Jose. Do you take that route? This is something that I want to ask y'all. Do you take the route of what Devin Haney is doing? I'm in the ring with somebody that could potentially beat me. He could, like Jose, he can spoil the whole entire thing. If Devin loses, the fight's over. He don't get Ryan. Do you put the fighters in a predicament like that? Do you put him in a fight like that where it's like it's do or die, right? If I lose to this guy, the fight's over. I guess it will heighten the hype for the fight, but it is still dangerous. Do you put Caleb in a fight where he can lose against his opponent and then he don't get Charlo? Do you put Charlo in a fight? And you can't afford for Charlo to have that kind of fight because, again, we don't know what he's going to look like on May 31st if he makes it there, right? It's possible he could go in that fight and lose because we just don't know. He's been out of the ring for so long. So we just don't know, right? Ryan is fighting Rolly. We expect Ryan to beat Rolly, but the whole Devin Haney thing is a bit iffy. Jose is tough. Jose is a vet. Again, I want to ask y'all, when y'all critique the opponents of Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo, yes, I understand it could be a bit better. But again, do you do what Devin Haney is doing, in which you're putting them in fights that they could potentially lose? And when I say potentially, I mean they have a high chance of losing, right? They have a high chance of winning because they're all skillful fighters, but they also have a high chance of losing because the other opponent is also highly skilled, and it just makes for a spoiling type of matchup where it's like, okay, you have to beat this dude, and this dude is tough. He's not coming to just, lose the fight. He's coming to win. He has the skill set to actually beat you. That's my only thing. I can agree, maybe their opponents could be better, but would y'all prefer for them to have these two fights where it seems like both fighters should be able to pass their opponent? Or would y'all, again, put them on the Devin Haney route in which, again, they're taking a tough fight and it's very possible that their opponent can beat them and spoil the big fight? But on that note, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy any of this content, make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and comment down below y'all thoughts and opinions about the Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo card. Also, given if they pass their opponents, in which they should, who would y'all have in Caleb Plant versus Jermall Charlo? Y'all already know who I got. Caleb Plant. If you've been on the channel, y'all should know this. I got Caleb Plant all day. And if you are new, make sure you hit that red button that says subscribe and click that bell, and make sure that bell is turned on to all so you don't miss out on new future uploads like this one. And as always, it's your boy Remy, and I love you guys. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.